We are in the heart of the financial center in Dubai, and we're pleased to welcome Damian Bunce, the CEO of GTN Middle East, for today's discussion with Economy Middle East. Thank you, Damian, for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Cynthia. I mean, our heritage is based here, so obviously you're a very natural partner for us.
Could you start by giving us some background on GTN?
Yeah, of course. So GTN next year will be 25 years old, so we've been around for a little while. We come from Saudi and Sri Lankan heritage actually as our founders, so it's a fairly sort of unique combination. We're a private company. We have 450 people around the world. We are most dominant in the GCC region, where we provide trading and services for hundreds of banks and financial brokers. We're regulated here in Dubai under the DFSA, in Singapore through the MAS regulator. In the US, we're a FINRA regulated broker-dealer. We're about to receive our license in the UK by the FCA, and we're also regulated in South Africa. In addition to that, we're supported by two kind of prominent private equity companies, IFC, International Financial Corporation, who's a member of the World Bank, and SBI Holdings, the big Japanese conglomerate. So they're part of our investor base and part of our journey.
Very interesting. Last month, GTN's partnership with Revolut made headlines. Could you give us more details and insights on this collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, it's a landmark deal for GTN and obviously our investors. We built a fractionalized bond product. So you take standard bonds, we split them up into pieces, and we make them accessible to the general market. So we're democratizing bond investing. Revolut saw the opportunity and embedded that product into their super app. So if you are one of the 30 million or so Revolut users today using the super app, and you have $100, you can now invest in the global bond market, which was a market originally only available to someone that had $100,000. So it's a unique proposition, and we're very proud of the deal.
So what benefits does this offer to customers and stakeholders?
Well, if you think about the markets today, and let's say you have some money and you're a saver, interest rates have been high for a few years now. So if you take some money and you put it into a fixed rate deposit account, you can expect to get between 4 and 5% return. And a lot of people are happy with that. But interest rates are going to decline, in the periods ahead. They already have done in the UK, and in all probability they will in the US as well. And when interest rates decline, people look for ways to maintain that yield. And professional investors, so not retail but professional investors, they switch money around between equities and bonds when markets are changing. And so if you are a saver and you've been enjoying 4.5% or 5% yields, by investing in bonds, you can now enjoy the same yields or more for years into the future. So it's a way of protecting your wealth.
And how has the product been received since its launch?
Well, it's been a phenomenal success. I mean, we're really happy. What I'm really happy about and relieved, and touch wood, we've had zero technical hiccups since we started, and I think that's really testament to the fact that Revolut really put us through their testing cycles and their paces. They're not going to release something to that massive community without proper road testing. So we actually learn a lot about our own practices from doing this deal and how we can improve stuff. So overall, it's been a phenomenal success. I mean, Revolut, of course, they had the foresight to do this first and to put this into their product, and we're very grateful for that support. But it's obviously something that's got a lot of interest now, and we're working with many partners around the world that see the same benefits, and we'll be making some announcements in the coming time about similar sort of deals.
That's great. And GTN has recently become a FINRA regulated broker-dealer in the US market.
Mm-hmm.
What strategic considerations led to this decision or expansion to the US market?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, obviously, to be a FINRA regulated broker dealer is not straightforward. It's not easy. It is investment, and The US market is a huge market. It's a very big market for fintech, and that's the space that we're kind of like going after in the US. And if you want to approach these large financial technology companies in the US that have millions of consumers, you need to do that as a FINRA regulated authorized broker, and that's our status there. So on the one hand, the reason for that investment is about our ability to go after that segment of clients and give them the assurances that when they execute with us, they're doing that with a regulated broker in the region. The other side of it is that outside of the US, the market itself, the US market, is heavily traded in all countries around the world. So take a typical, like a GCC country like Saudi Arabia. If you're a retail trader in Saudi Arabia, typically you trade your local market because you understand the companies in that market. But in addition to that, you'll also trade the US market. The big tech stocks are very well known. They're understood globally. And for us to provide a really competitive US product to international markets, we also need to have proper licenses and be fully regulated to get all the advantages. So that's the reason, twofold. There's the big domestic market, and then there's the international market trading US markets.
And Damian, beyond the core services, what other benefits are available for GTN customers?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's our job is to continually innovate in new products, because our clients, the big banks and brokers, they expect new innovations that they can offer to their end clients. So we're always thinking about what's the next thing. And of course, there's a lot of interest now in gold and silver. So we've added the gold product, we've added silver. So our clients can trade on those products, and now's a good time for gold. Clients want to trade with margin, so we have added margin to equities. You can now trade equities with some with margin. We launched a CFD product. CFDs are it's a very big market. It's a way of getting exposure to all sorts of different asset classes. So we now provide CFDs with access to trade equities, access to trade indices and commodities. We will be looking to add FX as an ancillary product to that, our trading services as well. Being in this region, Sharia compliant products are important to many customers. They're mandatory, in fact, and we're working with a number of Sharia compliant companies in order to provide products like options, for example, to our community. We're totally committed to that market, to Sharia compliant products. In addition to that, I talk about trading. We also do investing. So we continually add new funds to our investment store and enhancing the technology that we give out to investment managers, to those people that invest in that do investments for clients.
And before we conclude, what are your thoughts on the current state of the fintech industry?
I mean, it's a vibrant community. I mean, it's extremely active. I think, though, that if I were to characterize some of the changes, I think sort of 4 or 5 years ago, fintech's it's a term that's well known, but typically you'd see big deals taking place between two well-known brands. So one well-known fintech and another well-known fintech tying up and doing deals together. And as fintech's accelerated, increasingly you're seeing a lot more deals between big well-known brands and less well-known names, or even unknown names. And that comes about as a result of new ways of working. And so typically today, the most sophisticated fintechs work on small, discrete front-to-back development teams that are autonomous. They have decision-making power. So the team that builds the widget in the front end, what it looks like, is the same team that cares about how the deposits and the withdrawals take place. So that front-to-back team, those sort of teams, they're empowered and they're autonomous. And in these big organizations, they still get decision-making capability. And those people are finding like-minded companies with niche products and doing deals with them at that level. So that kind of deal making in the fintech industry is new, and it's very much linked to the way in which organizations are structured. And I think probably when you think about the industry, it's an area actually that's least understood. Very high-tech fintechs that think about the structure of their organizations and how they're development teams work are able to cooperate with other departments and other groups and create real innovation.
Thank you, Damian, for your time and insights. We look forward to following the company's progress in the coming months and years, and we hope to have you back with us to share more updates on your continued progress. Thank you.
Sure, thank you very much. Thank you, Cindy.